Professional wrestling has entertained millions the world over, and its ongoing popularity owes much to the larger-than-life characters it's created over the years. Although some wrestling gimmicks might seem to have no basis in reality, many of these characters take inspiration from real people or characters from other forms of media. My name is Big Head Code, and today I'll be talking about the real-world origins of pro wrestling gimmicks. Part 2. Tyler Breeze was born Matthias Clement on January 19, 1988 in Penticton, British Columbia. Clement began his in-ring career in 2007, wrestling for Power Zone Wrestling under the ring name Matthias Wild. In 2010, Clement would sign with the WWE, debuting in their developmental territory Florida Championship Wrestling under the name Matt Clement. He would change his ring name 2 more times over the next 3 months, wrestling under the names Mike McGrath and Mike Dalton. Dalton was a typical babyface bordering on generic, and though he would be victorious in a handful of matches in FCW, he would serve as enhancement talent when the brand made the transition to modern NXT. After performing as enhancement talent from 2012 to 2013, Clement struggled to connect with fans, and WWE management informed him that he was on the chopping block unless he drastically changed his character. Clement turned to close friend and roommate Xavier Woods to help him come up with a new gimmick. Woods, who was talented in video editing, prompted Clement to come up with 3 different characters that they would film promos for. The gimmicks he came up with included a wrestling snowboarder, a darker version of his character Mike Dalton, and Tyler Breeze, a narcissistic male model. Woods and Clement had the most fun filming the promos for the Tyler Breeze character and believed it had the least probability of being chosen, but NXT management loved it. Much of Tyler Breeze was inspired by the 2001 film Zoolander. Breeze would pattern his promo style and mannerisms after the titular character, as well as using his trademark look, blue steel. While preparing the character for its debut, Breeze used a small pocket mirror to stare at himself as part of his entrance. NXT executive producer Triple H spotted this and noted that the mirror had been done before and that aspect of his entrance needed a modern twist. Upon his suggestion, Breeze would ditch the handheld mirror and instead utilize the selfie entrance he would become known for. John Cena began his in-ring career in 1999 wrestling for Ultimate Pro Wrestling under the ring name The Prototype. The Prototype was a cyborg-inspired gimmick with Cena using robot-like mannerisms similar to the T-800 from the Terminator series of films. He would go on to sign a developmental deal with the WWE in 2001, where he would continue to use the Prototype gimmick until his main roster call-up in 2002. There, he would begin to wrestle as John Cena. Although he would have an impressive showing after answering a challenge from Kurt Angle, he failed to connect with audiences as he was now a generic white meat babyface. WWE management took notice of this, and Cena was set to be cut from the company later that year. While on what he believed was his final European tour, Cena would take part in a rap battle that would change his career forever. To help pass the time on their tour bus, a group of wrestlers that included the likes of Rikishi and Rey Mysterio would partake in freestyle rap battles. During one such battle, Cena joined in and impressed everyone on the tour bus, including Stephanie McMahon. McMahon was amazed that he was able to remember all the lyrics in his rap and was even more blown away when she learned that he had freestyled them. She asked Cena if he could rap live on WWE television, and he jumped at the opportunity. On the 2002 Halloween edition of SmackDown, Cena was featured in a Halloween party segment dressed as Vanilla Ice. There, he would showcase his rapping ability on live TV for the first time, impressing management and fans alike. He continued to use the rapping gimmick following the Halloween episode, giving birth to the Doctor of Thugonomics. Though Cena was dressed as Vanilla Ice during his freestyle rapping debut, much of his gimmick was inspired by Mark Wahlberg's early 90s rap persona, Marky Mark. This gimmick saw Cena utilizing his rapping ability to degrade his opponents. He also changed much of his look, replacing his generic ring gear with jersey tank tops and backwards hats, similar to that of Marky Mark. Raymond Lloyd began his in-ring career in 1987, wrestling on the Georgia independent scene under the ring name Sugar Ray Lloyd, a nickname given to him by former NWA champion Tommy Rich. Lloyd would join the NWA in 1989 on their Great American Bash tour. Shortly after, he was booked to lose to pro wrestling legend The Great Muta at a WCW house show in Atlanta, Georgia. Muta was impressed with Lloyd's in-ring ability and requested he join him on the remainder of the tour. He would sign with the WCW in early 1996, and vignettes for his new gimmick would begin to appear on WCW Monday Nitro in April of that year. The vignettes were extremely mysterious and featured snow falling with the words, "Our world is about to change," and the tagline, "Blood runs cold." Lloyd's new character would be revealed as a martial arts master named Glacier. His profile in the WCW magazine stated Glacier traveled to a remote village in Japan to train in a fighting style that combined martial arts and pro wrestling. The name Glacier was given to him by his master, who described him as the Chosen One. The article goes on to state that Glacier is in possession of a 400-year-old samurai helmet that is passed down from master to top student. He would make his long-awaited debut in September of 1996 with one of the most expensive entrances in wrestling history, reportedly costing close to $500,000. His entrance featured lasers, synthetic snow, and a ton of blue lighting. His appearance and gimmick were obviously inspired by the character Sub-Zero from the video game series Mortal Kombat. The ring gear Glacier wore during his debut on WCW Pro was almost an exact ripoff of Sub-Zero's costume from Mortal Kombat 3. Perhaps due to a cease and desist letter or in fear of legal action from Midway, Glacier's costume would be altered to a more generic singlet in future appearances. His storyline saw him feuding with other fantastical characters like Mortis, who was Chris Kanyon repackaged as an Asian pit fighter, and Wrath, who wrestling fans may recognize as Adam Bomb. They would include one of my least favorite wrestlers, Ernest the Cat Miller, in the storyline, ensuring that it would be a failure. His debut was also at a time when the pro wrestling landscape was changing. With the arrival of the NWO and WWE's Attitude Era, fans wanted more realistic and adult-oriented content, making it nearly impossible for the gimmick to get over. That's all for now, but there are plenty of wrestling gimmicks I've yet to cover. If you know of any others, please leave them below in the comments and I may feature them in future videos. My name is Big Head Code, and thank you for watching.